Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. Bringing you the news, I'm Jama Ratnayaka. Here are your headlines for tonight.
A fresh controversy over the cut-off marks of the Grade 5 scholarship examination. Farmers in Suryawava launch a fast demanding for the elephant management reserve to be gazetted. Mandatory military training for everyone above 18 years of age. Minister Sarath Weerasekara prepares to table proposal in Parliament. India intervened in the reconstruction of the memorial at the Jaffna University that was destroyed. A majority of transshipment is conducted with India. We need to protect our international trade relations. Minister Rohita speaks about the East Container Terminal.
විශේෂයෙන් අල්ලපුරට ඉන්දියා මයිකල් අයියා සිරිපාලය රණ්ඩු වෙන වගේ ගහලා එලවන්න පුළුවන් කමක් අපිට නැහැ.
Will Ranjan be allowed to enter Parliament? England beat Sri Lanka by 7 wickets.
Taking a look at your top story for the day. An issue has arisen regarding the cut-off marks of last year's Grade 5 scholarship examination. News First delves deeper into the matter. In comparison to previous years, the cut-off marks to enter leading schools in the country have been raised. Following are the cut-off marks of several leading schools in Sri Lanka. Royal College 193, Dharmaraj College Kandy 192, Ananda College and Malayadeva Boys College Kurunegala 191, Visakha Vidyalaya 194, Devi Balika Vidyalaya and Malayadeva Girls College Kurunegala 191, Mahamaya Girls College Kandy 190, Sivali Central College Ratnapura 186, Takshila Central College Horana and Malayadeva Model School Kurunegala 185. Cut-off marks to enter national and provincial level schools have also increased in comparison to other years. A group of parents gathered opposite the Ministry of Education in Isurupaya today requesting justice for their children. Speaking at a media briefing, Dr. Bandula Gunawardana also pointed out that there is an issue pertaining to the cut-off mark at last year's scholarship exam.
It is difficult for me to understand whether the Minister of Education or the Minister has a clear understanding on the results of the scholarship examination or its marks. If a candidate obtains 35 marks each for the 2 papers and obtains a total of 70, that student will pass the Grade 5 scholarship exam. When I was the Minister of Education, I awarded a certificate for all the students who obtained more than 70 marks at the exam. Now the Ministry has introduced a cut-off mark. Who determines this mark? Is this mark based on any formula? Nobody has revealed any information relating to this. It is not fair if the politicians are influencing the officials at the Ministry of Education to change the cut-off mark every year in this very decisive exam for students.
මේක ආණ්ඩුවේ ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් තියෙනවා අපි හැමෝටම සාමූහිකව එකකින්වත් තියෙනවා ඉතින් ඒ අනුව තමයි අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ.
ඇයි අමතුමා එහෙම ලකුණු වැඩි වුණේ මේ සැරේ?
නෑ නෑ ඒක අවුරුද්දෙන් අවුරුද්දට වෙනස් වෙන සුළු දෙයක් නේ.
180 ගත්ත ළමයටත් දැන් පාසලක් නොලැබී යන මට්ටමකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි ඉතා අසරණතාවයට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා අපේ දෙමාපිය විශාල පිරිසක්.
190ක් ගන්න මගේ දරුවා මොන තරම් මහන්සි වීමක් වෙන්න ඕනද? ඉතින් එයාගේ පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් තිබ්බ බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තමයි ජනප්‍රිය පාසලකට ඇතුළු වීම.
We have
given an opportunity to file appeals. You can make your appeals this year online after the 15th of February. You can make your appeals on g6application.moe.gov.lk.
application.moe.gov.lk.
That was a mere glimpse of the damage caused by marauding wild elephants in the Hambantota district during the past month alone to both human life and property. According to wildlife officials, 4 people and 10 wild elephants have lost their lives in just 2 divisional secretariats in Suryawava, Hambantota during the past year. Residents of Valsapugala, Hambantota today launched a fast demanding for a wild elephant management reserve to be gazetted to prevent the loss of both the elephants and human lives.
The Valsapugala village in Hambantota is an area that is severely affected by the human-elephant conflict. The people of this village have been living in fear for many years now. Against a backdrop where authorities have failed to address this issue despite continuous requests from area residents, the farmers in the area today took to the streets to protect their village and the environment. The movement was spearheaded by the Valava Vammura United Agrarian Organization and is supported by 86 other agrarian organizations. The farmers adhere to all COVID-19 health regulations, and this attempt was organized with the blessings of the Mahasangha. The temperature of those who wished to participate in the fast were checked before they were registered. About 300 farmers from 86 agrarian organizations have already joined the fast. Officers attached to the Hambantota police and medical officers arrived at the location where the fast was being staged. However, amid strict regulations, the farmers launched the fast to fight for an elephant management reserve.
We staged fasts and protests, but even the previous government did not give us any solutions. We would like to inform this government that until our 6 demands are met, we will give our lives to this struggle and continue our agitation on the road. We demand for the proposed elephant management zone located in Hambantota to be gazetted. Then activate the electric fence that surrounds this zone and open the elephant corridors that lead to Bundala and Lunugambehera. People carrying boards of various politicians have already come and destroyed many acres of land here. The rulers must be informed that these people were given approval to do this by politicians and not people. The 86 agrarian organizations will continue to stage this fast continuously for 86 days. 21 farmers are ready to launch a fast unto death. They will fast in sets of 2, and if one of them dies, the other will take his place. The fast unto death will be launched on Wednesday at the same location.
Welcome back to the news. Politburo member of the JVP, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, speaking at a conference in Ratnapura yesterday, expressed the following views regarding the proposal to hand over 49% of the Colombo East Container Terminal to the Adani Group in India.
If India has that much of an interest in our harbours, why don't they develop the Oluville harbour? That doesn't happen. Why is that? This is the place. From that side, China owns it. The most important terminal. They want the neighbouring terminal. The president said this is a diplomatic issue. This is not easy. How did they come to power? This is why a person from Vietmaga said, although he poses bigger than life in front of villagers, he is a coward in front of India. India gets the credit for electing him. The US interfered because they thought India was the big brother in this situation. When the US sent their citizen here for the election, India was his sponsor. If someone wants to understand the complete story, I want to ask you to line up all the events from the Easter attacks to the presidential election to India taking over our oil tanks to handing over the management of the Mattala airport and selling the harbour to India. The wife of the Katuapitiya bomber escaped to India. She is a critical witness to this. Even during a foreign visit, the President and Foreign Secretary didn't ask for her return. You can't just escape to India from Manna and live there. The influence of India is clear here. The obedient disciple to this was Ranil Wickremesinghe. He wasn't strong enough. He wasn't elected. China is racing to take over the region. That is when they bring a person who can expedite this to the seat. They spoke about the robotics and the meeting at Shangri-La. They spoke about Oracle database, nanotechnology and artificial intelligence. Where did the conversation stop at the end? In Anuradhapura. When you follow the red line, you can see the mastermind behind this. They work according to the mastermind.
Some people who do not even know where the East Terminal is within the port are talking about the East Terminal today. They must first understand the difference between sell, lease and invest. Those that claim we are trying to sell the East Terminal, please show us where we are selling. However, when we lost Hambantota, not a single piece of paper was presented to Parliament. As a government, we will not sell our property to any government or organisation. We do not obtain loans and put the people of the country in debt. We invite investors to come and operate as a joint venture while we hold 100% ownership.
අපේ රජයේ දුන්නේ හම්බන්තොට වරාය මොකද?
Our government gave the port to Hambantota. One, because we had to pay 9,200 million a year for it. These loans were taken by the Rajapaksas. Second, there was no business taking place because there were no basic infrastructure. So they were given about 60%. That was because they will spend on it. Now, in this case, the East Jetty, which is a good place to do business, is about to be handed over.
දුවන හොඳ ව්‍යාපාරික ස්ථානයක් වන නැගෙනහිර තට්ටේ තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ.
මම විසින් පත් කරන ලද කමිටුව
The committee I appointed is studying what we are to do next. We must not forget we are doing a re-export business. 66% of our re-exports are with India. 9.5% of this we do with Bangladesh. So we need to protect our trade and international relations with these countries. This terminal will have to be completed within the next 18 months. On the other hand, work on the western terminal should begin this year. If not, we could lose out on shipping companies, especially our neighbor, which is India.
අන්තේ මේ අවුරුද්දෙම ආරම්භ කරන්න ඕනේ. එම නැත්තම් නව සමාගම් අපෙන් ගිලී යන්න පුළුවන් ඔය කියන තරජෙට. විශේෂයෙන් අල්ලපුරට ඉන්දියාව. ඒ ඉන්දියාවත් එක්ක තරහ වෙලා අර ගමක ඉන්න මේ මයිකල් අයියා සිරිපාල අයියා රණ්ඩු වෙනවා වගේ ගහලා එලවන්න පුළුවන් කමක් අපිට නැහැ.
කොළඹට අභියෝගයක්
There is no port in India to challenge Colombo. Since there is no such port in India, we are now talking about them taking away 66% of what we have. If they can take that 66%, what have they done since 1979 when we established the Ports Authority? They are creating a demon once again because they cannot do as they say. This is because India wants it given to them. This is what India is trying to do at this point of time. India is not investing in developing the Colombo port for the love of the Colombo port. If they come to the port of Colombo and prevent the increase in the capacity of the port of Colombo, they can keep Sri Lanka in one place until the port of Vizhinjam reaches a certain level. So why are they trying to invest here? They know Vizhinjam will fail if Colombo develops. That's why they are coming here.
ඉන්දියාව මේ වෙනකොටත් අපි අපිත් එක්ක මේ ව්‍යාපාරික
If India still cannot resolve this business issue with us, we will go for other measures. Then the ships that come, we will have to look at in different ways. The ships that come will very soon not come in anymore at a certain point. So amidst this COVID pandemic, if we build the port and do not see enough vessels, we will have to stare at the ships from afar.
නැව්වෙන්නේ නැති වුණොත් අපිට තියෙන්නේ වරාය දිහා බල බල ඉන්න.
Anger in India, there is nothing to make India angry. They've always been friends with us. Most of their exports are to us. They cannot become angry with us unless we get angry with them. Going to India means losing. We can tell within a country to boycott India. That means India will be lost. A man who has a shop cannot be angry with a customer. What will happen then is that the shop will have to be shut over a few days. Similarly, the shop name in India will not get angry with its customer. It will not happen.
ඉන්දියාව නැමැති කඩය කවදාකවත් අනිත් පාරිභෝජිකයොත් එක්ක තරහ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
පහුගිය දවසක අපි දැක්කා ඉන්දියාවේ විදේශ ඇමතුමා
We saw the other day when the foreign minister of India came, he had urged us to strengthen the provincial council system, especially with the 13th amendment to the constitution. This was to exert pressure on the people of this country. We need to take note, there is no need to be unduly influenced by India. The struggle we wage from the opposition to protect national assets are being carried out within the government. It has been clearly stated that our government is not going to sell national assets belonging to this country.
ජාතික සම්පත් ආරක්ෂා කිරීම සඳහා එදා අපි විපක්ෂයේ ඉඳන් කරපු අරගලය ආණ්ඩුව තුල ඉඳගෙනත් කරනවා. මම පැහැදිලිව කියනවා අපේ ආණ්ඩුව ජාතික සම්පත් විකුණන තැනකට යන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක.
යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුවේ හම්බන්තොට වරාය පදු දෙන්න යනකොට
When the government of good governance was going to lease out the Hambantota port, Mr. Rohit Abegunawardene and I, we all went and campaigned against the move to lease out the Hambantota port. Rohit and I were hiding in the same toilet when they attacked us with tear gas. Today it is our ports minister who went and campaigned with us then that is doing the same today. Any child can understand this. We know what happens when we give 49% instead of 51%. We are also good businessmen, traditional businessmen. Therefore the public cannot be deceived. They used to be deceived.
ඒක නිසා මේ මහ ජනතාව දැන් රවට්ටන්න බෑ. ඒ ඉස්සර රැට්ටුවේ.
The Hindu newspaper revealed today of Indian intervention in the issues surrounding the demolition of the monument inside the Jaffna University. The newspaper reported that the day after the demolition of the monument, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Gopal Bhagle met with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to discuss the matter. The Indian High Commissioner met with the Prime Minister and they discussed the issues surrounding the Jaffna monument. The Hindu quoted the Prime Minister's media secretary as saying, The weekend Sunday Times reported that Indian High Commissioner had told the Prime Minister that the incident could lead to protests in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The newspaper report stated that the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa had taken immediate action. The Mullai Vaikal Memorial Monument at the Jaffna University to commemorate students and civilians killed in the war was demolished on the night of the 8th of this month. 2 days later, the Vice-Chancellor of the university himself laid the foundation stone for the reconstruction of the monument.
Venerable Vepatira Hema Lokatera expressed the following views regarding the current political situation of the country at a press briefing held in Maharagama. Venerable Vepatira Hema Lokatera is the Chief Sanganayaka of the Western Province and a retired Dharmacharya of the Ananda Vidyalaya.
What we expected from President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was a unified country without commissioners and with one law. Next, we expected a country without bribery. That is what we expected from a great person like Gotabaya Rajapaksa. That is what we expected. However, now we question whether he can do it with the people around him. Nowadays, we can see in newspapers that commissions have been taken when bringing down PCR testing kits. Through newspapers, we can see that obtaining commissions from people's money has become a habit. They do not care about the country as long as they can live off the people's money. How can Gotabaya Rajapaksa work with these people? That has become a problem for us today.
Counsel for George Stewart Health Private Limited consented for the District Judge of Colombo to hear the defamation action filed by George Stewart Health Private Limited against MTV Channel Private Limited.
When the defamation action filed by George Stewart Health Private Limited against MTV Channel Private Limited came up before the additional district judge, Honorable Sandun Vitana, in court number 6 on the 13th of January, he refused to hear the case and made an order to transfer this case back to court number 1 to the learned district judge, Rashantha Godavela, to hear the case. When the case was taken up at district court number 1 on the same day, District Judge Rashantha Godavela informed both parties that he can proceed to hear the case in district court number 1. However, President's counsel Romesh De Silva, appearing for George Stewart Health Private Limited, made an application to court to postpone the case for him to obtain instructions from his client. When the case came up today before District Judge Rashantha Godavela, President's counsel Romesh De Silva informed court that he is consenting to this case to be heard before the learned district judge Rashantha Godavela. Counsel, who appeared for MTV Channel Private Limited, brought to the notice of court that when this case came up on the previous occasion, on the 8th of January, he had objected to a motion and an affidavit filed on behalf of George Stewart Health Private Limited on the basis that it was in complete contravention of the provisions of the Civil Procedure Code and that therefore the said motion and the documents filed along with it by George Stewart Health Private Limited should be rejected. Counsel appearing for MTV Private Limited said he reserved his right to object to this at the time of the inquiry. Court allowed the said application made by the counsel for MTV. Court fixed this case for inquiry in regard to the application for interim injunction on the 8th of February and the enjoining order valid up to the 8th of February.
Minister of Public Security Rear Admiral Sarath Weerasekara says a proposal regarding subjecting every person above the age of 18 for military training will be presented to Parliament.
Every person above the age of 18 must undergo military training. I submitted this proposal to Parliament as one of my own. I submitted this proposal for the benefit of the country. No one needs to fear military training. A military training is essential for someone to stand strong, to look into someone's eyes and speak. It builds up personality and instills leadership qualities.
However, former Minister Milinda Moragoda previously stressed on the need to commit the youth to military training on a number of occasions. On the 25th of May in 2019, Newsfirst quoted Moragoda saying that a national service program should be implemented comprehensively and apply to all Sri Lankans regardless of social position, ethnic origin or religious background. He added that implementing a military service policy is expensive for any country and will require serious attention and planning. Meanwhile, the United Citizens Alliance responded to the proposal put forward by Minister Sarath Weerasekara at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
අපි කියන්නේ හමුදා පුහුණුව මිනිස්සුන්
We think that before giving military training to people, you must realize that you can't find an ounce of turmeric to put in a broth. Before giving military training, try to bring an ounce of turmeric if possible. Rice, sugar, coconut, even turmeric is 6,000-7,000 rupees and they are calling for military training. People without a paddle are talking about ships. People are without food to eat and the government must help find them food to eat. That is why they were elected.
පත් කළ ආණ්ඩුව ඒකට
The group of Ukrainian tourists toured the Sigiriya rock fortress this morning.
This tour group of 45 tourists include 5 children. According to our correspondent, special health procedures were followed during the visit. The tour group was accompanied by former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udhyanga Veeratunga.
Venerable Bengamwe Nalaka Thera today reiterated that marijuana required for indigenous medical practices should be allowed to be cultivated. Before we head into that story, the Sri Dalada Maligava, or the Temple of the Tooth, has issued a statement.
The Temple of the Tooth, in a press release issued this evening, dismissed claims relating to staff members at the temple testing positive for COVID-19. The Department of Government Information said, following tests conducted on the staff members at the Temple of the Tooth, it was confirmed that none of them were exposed to the virus. The press release further notes that devotees are facilitated with the respective amenities to engage in religious observances in a safe manner with strict adherence to COVID-19 health regulations as instructed by health authorities.
Venerable Bengamwe Nalagathera today reiterated that marijuana required for indigenous medical purposes should be allowed to be cultivated.
There is a ban on cultivating medical marijuana. The British banned this during their rule. You can't cultivate without their permission. An ordinance was brought forward in 1984 making it illegal to consume marijuana in any way. Why was that done? Marijuana is a medical plant. If Lord Buddha has accepted it, why can't we? Why can't the government accept it? We expect to use marijuana to cure the illnesses of patients. Permission should be given to cultivate it. Permission should be given to the indigenous doctors and the Ayurvedic department to cultivate marijuana needed for medicine locally. We don't have to bring these down from overseas.
The Colombo Stock Exchange recorded its highest price index in history earlier today.
The performance of the stock market is assessed based on the fluctuations of its price indices. The all-share price index of the CSE was noted at 7,922.66 today, a rise of 188 points as opposed to the previous day. The previous high of the ASPI of the Colombo Stock Exchange was witnessed on the 14th of February 2011, which was 7,811.80 points. 67,153 shares had been traded during the course of the day today. Accordingly, market turnover was 12.2 billion rupees. At the start of this year, the ASPI was on 6,774.22 points. But today, it has risen to 1,148.44, a rise of 17% during the opening 18 days of the year.
මම ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න ඕනේ මේ හුඟක් දෙනෙක් කොවිඩ් නිසා මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය කඩා වැටුණායි කියලා.
Many people say that the economy of the country has collapsed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The World Bank, the Asian Development Bank and the International Monetary Fund provided assistance to countries whose economies were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Did Sri Lanka receive a single dollar? No, we did not. Sri Lanka could have got $500 million from the World Bank, $500 million from the Asian Development Bank and $800 million from the International Monetary Fund. Sri Lanka could have got a total of $1,800 million to manage the crisis brought about by COVID-19. But what did those international organizations say? They said that the economic downfall in Sri Lanka was not brought about by COVID-19. They said that Sri Lanka's economy was negative in the first quarter since before the pandemic hit. So when Sri Lanka is free of COVID-19, there is no way that Sri Lanka can pay back their loans. So Sri Lanka did not get any of those funds that they would have received from these international organizations. Only 11 countries, including Sri Lanka, didn't get these benefits. So it is unlikely that things will get better after COVID-19 is over. We have a more endemic problem, and the international community has identified this, so we have no protection there.
Will Ranjan Ramanayaka, who is serving a prison sentence, be allowed to attend parliamentary sessions? This is an inquiry into the legal possibilities.
The Samagi Jana Balawega is of the view that MP Ranjan Ramanayaka should be given the same opportunity as MP Premalal Jayasekara was given to enter parliament. Lakshman Kiriyalla, the chief organizer of the opposition, said in the statement that Ramanayaka would lose his seat in 6 months according to the elections commissioner. Kiriyalla points out that the court was of the view that the speaker should take a decision on the request made by Premalal Jayasekara to the Court of Appeal. He says that Ranjan Ramanayaka should be given the opportunity to participate in the parliamentary session in line with the decision. Kiriyalla has requested that the Speaker provide an opportunity for the opposition to express their views in Parliament tomorrow, and the Speaker has duly agreed to grant that opportunity. Meanwhile, a party leaders' meeting was held in Parliament earlier today, and it was decided that Parliament will convene for only 2 days this week.
Parliament will meet only on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have temporarily suspended the sittings on Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow in Parliament, we as the opposition took the opportunity to present facts regarding the right of MP Ranjan Ramanayaka to participate in parliamentary proceedings.
Meanwhile, State Minister P.R. Nishanta has also contracted COVID-19, and Minister G.L. Piris has also been quarantined as a result. Accordingly, it has been confirmed that 4 members of Parliament have been infected with COVID-19.
And with that, it's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jayamal Ratnayaka, along with our sign language interpreter for tonight, Brian De Cruz. In case you missed any of these stories, simply log on to our website, www.newsfirst.lk. Also follow us on our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Take care, stay safe and good night.